coming in and sideways. They used to give me a hard time. Oh, Joe Roundtree, hilarious. He used to give me a hard time where if I hid behind the L screen, you wouldn't be able to see me, like behind the poles. But if I was standing the other way, like, if it was windy, he'd be like, Chaz, don't blow away, because you can fly me like a kite. I was like, thanks, Coach. Appreciate that.
Very cool. All right, brother. Well, I started recording, so we're good. Got caught a little bit of your story, so
let's do it.
So all right. So I just want to thank everybody for coming. We got about 51 here right now. We had over 100 people register. I just think this is a big moment in definitely Chaz's life, being the developer, both the Dry Developer and the Rebels Rack, and also in mine too. I think this is such a breakthrough in hitting aids and being able to get our kids to feel the right movement. And when you talk about feeling the hips and core rotating and getting the upper body to fall behind, I think it's great. Like, I just had a lesson with a kid, and he got it pretty quick. I mean, he's going to have to work on it, but it was a definite change. So I think this is a big night, and this, like I said, we're going to try and keep the talk. We could talk all night, but we're going to try and keep it to about 30 minutes of Chaz and I talking, and then about 15 or 20 or so minutes of Q&A at the end, so we can answer any of you guys' questions or objections, and also feel free to ask too in the chat box, because we'll be answering those questions as well. But if we can, try and save it for the end. So anything you want to add there, Chaz? I'm pretty grateful for everybody to come and show up.
This is awesome. Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. So let's grab our power. Let me share my screen here. It's going to load up.
And for people who haven't seen the demo, please head over to YouTube and check it out. It's on my official YouTube page.
Screen sharing has started.
A lot more great
Screen
stuff
sharing is paused.
So,
Screen sharing has resumed.
Thank you all for coming. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, cool. So this webinar today, we're going to be talking about the truth about the hand path, the article Chaz did a few weeks ago, and putting it on webinar form, plus the Rebel Racks launch party. Pretty exciting stuff. It's going to change the game and the way we teach hitting, like we talked about. So what's on the agenda tonight? We're going to be talking about how hitting is becoming more of a science, as Ted Williams said with his The Science of Hitting book, but a lot more nowadays when we're looking at slow motion video analysis and stuff. Point 2, discover how you can gain better separation from your pelvis and shoulder angles in 30 minutes time. We're getting case studies that are 30-minute turnarounds where kids are gaining 5 to 13 miles per hour on their ball exit speed or bat speed. So pretty crazy stuff when kids are learning to be more efficient around their spine. The last point being learning how to turn more of your mass with super hip thrust. So, Chad, you want to just kind of run through this real quick? We're not going to spend too much time on who we are. Most of you guys know, but those who don't, we'll go over it. So go ahead, Chaz. Or actually, should I do you? Yeah, no, go ahead.
I mean, I've done about 9,000 hitting lessons over now. I work with 2 awesome guys, J.K. Whited and Justin Orndorff, who push me every day to think more clearly and speak more clearly about the game and about hitting. The Dry Developer and obviously the Rebels Rack are 2 of my patent pending products. And
screen sharing is paused.
Author and leader of the Baseball Hitting Rebellion.
Screen sharing has resumed.
Working with Josh Horton, who's in AA with the Oakland A's, and Benji Johnson, who unfortunately got released by the Angels, but he's an independent ball now. And Joey likes to call me the hitting Yoda, so I definitely take a artistic view of hitting. I try really hard to look at it through a different lens, and I think most of you guys appreciate it.
Yep. So okay. And then a little bit about me: author of SwingSmart.com, owner of the Starting Line Store.com. Played 4 years Division I baseball at Fresno State from 2000 to 2003. Wasn't a part of their 2008 squad that won the College World Series, but it was kind of cool to see that happen. I'm a hitting info overload survivor now for 2+ years, thanks to Chaz. Definitely helps simplify a lot of the hitting information that's out there that's very, very conflicting. And I'm definitely a baseball hitting rebel in a major way, as you'll see the Rebels Rack. So a few quick updates real quick. We got coming up a 5-week paid teleseminar series on escaping daddy ball pollock ticks. This is going to start on the last webinar we did was on a Friday the 13th, so why not make this one on a Friday the 13th? So July 13th on Friday. We'll announce the time as we get going. But if you guys aren't signed up for either the Swing Architect newsletter, well, it's on both the Baseball Hitting Rebellion and SwingSmart.com. You can sign up there, and then we'll be in touch as to some of these things coming up. That'll be in about 8 weeks or so. And then we're going to be opening up an 8-week hitting social media contest. It should be very, very cool and very interactive, and we're looking with this next week to get that to launch. We're throwing also, as some of you that don't know, we're throwing a Rebels Rack launch party tonight. So that's a few updates. Let's dive in. So we'll let Chaz take it away.
You know, a lot of people and a lot of hitting instructors, a lot of coaches, they make one huge error, and they talk about hand path, and they constantly refer to your hands or throw your knob to the ball or all these things that cause like really bad stuff. You know, arm barring, and rear deltoid or front deltoid of the back shoulder. I always screw that up. Front deltoid of the back shoulder and back chest muscle pectoral activation. And we got to make sure that we avoid the front arm tricep and both those, the front deltoid in the back arm and the chest. Okay, so basically what I'm saying with muscles is don't pull with your bottom hand and don't push with your top hand. But even then, I just screwed it up. I said hand. Okay, your hand doesn't pull, your tricep pulls. Your hand doesn't push, your front deltoid and your pectoral push. And so when you say hands, you activate the arms, and the arms, use of the arms completely disconnects and ruins a swing. You've got to turn through your core. You've got to generate separation between your pelvis and your shoulders. And if you don't do that, you cannot be a top-level hitter. There are 0 examples of linear hitting in Major League Baseball. Even guys who say they are don't do it. There's not arm pull. There's not knob pull. It does not exist. I've studied video like I don't know anybody who else does the video study that I do, and that JK does, and that Justin does, and there's just no examples of it. And guys that do make it up, that have more of a pulley swing, they're generally flash in the pan guys. They can have 1 or 2 good years, maybe, if they're top level athletes, and then they erode, their technique breaks down, the book's out on them, and that's the end of it. So we've got to make sure that we're turning from the core with a torquing motion that's led by the hips and finished with the shoulders, and that's what the rack can do.
I think the only anomaly there is Derek Jeter, because you can see, unless there was something that changed in the last year or so when he was trying to hit, was it the 3,000th hit, and he said that he changed his swing a little bit, but he still is a very handsy guy. But well, that's true, and a lot of people say that, and the thing that makes Derek Jeter look like a knob pull guy, okay, and Joey, we've actually never talked about this, so it's funny you bring him up, is he just prematurely lays the bat down. So he does, and JK loves Derek Jeter, and I'm not a big Jeter fan, but what am I going to say? The guy's going to have a trillion hits. I don't know how many it is, almost 4,000. I'm sure JK's laughing right now if he's listening. But the thing about it is, I mean, the guy, the way he does it is he doesn't continue barrel movement like a Hamilton or a Batista, obviously guys who have more power and, in my opinion, who are significantly better technically, or Cano. But what he does do, he lays the barrel down, he gets it in the zone pretty early. So I'm not really disagreeing. It's just kind of a different style. He is an anomaly. So. Oh, there's JK.
Oh, JK is listening. Oh, awesome.
Okay. Good.
So if you haven't seen the rack, you can go to Baseball Hitting Rebellion and read the hand path article, and the demo again is on there. There's one of a kid actually using the rack in a lesson. His previous high at his evaluation, which was 2 sessions before that. And just so everybody knows, at evaluations at It's Baseball, we do 0 technique changes, none. So he had 2 lessons from me. That was his actual 2nd lesson. So he'd had less than 80 minutes of instruction from me after having dozens of lessons from a former professional player, and he improved 10 miles an hour. And one of the things I want to make sure everybody knows is you shouldn't have 10 miles an hour of room for improvement if you've had 20 lessons. That's the problem, and that's what I was trying to explain to his parents at their eval. Like, your son should not be doing the things that he is doing, period. and this is why. And they weren't really sure because it's definitely different. And I said, try it out, see what you think. You know, you're here for a reason. You're obviously not happy with what you're getting, so try a different way. And now they're just ecstatic. I mean, they cannot wait to see what happens in 4 months of lessons instead of 2 weeks of lessons.
Cool. How about that?
So yeah, and with the rack, one of the things we're able to do is prove that their back arm can't push, because if you push with the rack in your hands, it falls out. So, I know this is a launch party, and a lot of the people listening are like really excited about the rack, and you're probably tuning in so you can buy it and so you can hear more about it. But I really struggle with getting kids not to push, and I really struggle with getting kids not to pull with their front side. And I'm a right-handed thrower, left-handed hitter, okay? So I have a dominant bottom hand, which is terrible for hitting. It's the worst thing you can possibly have. Now, it helps to see right-handed curveballs break into your barrel occasionally, but it's really a negative effect overall on how you're supposed to power the bat. That's something Josh and I really struggle with in our sessions, and when JK worked with him as well, is how to feel that your weak, uncoordinated, goofy hand snap the bat into the zone. And if I had had this with Josh, it probably would have been like something I introduced to him like day 3. And I never got to it, and Josh still has a little bit of arm bar, and I can't wait to work with him again with this thing and get it out, because I really think he has everything that he needs, from barrel continuation to hip thrust to gaining ground to confidence, coordination. I don't see any difference between him and the guys on TV every night, and when I watch his games on the minor league, I guess MILB.com, I see all these things, and then I watch the other minor leaguers on the other teams, and I might see one a game who has that. And so Josh is still putting it together, and he's having a phenomenal year. But if I could have gotten him to improve his wrist flexibility with this thing, I would have done it. If I could have gotten him to pinch his scaps back. So when you pinch your scaps back, you can't move your arms. And your scaps are your shoulders in the back, those big wings kind of on the back of you, your shoulder blades. And when you pinch those back, you can't push your arm. You can't get you can't drag barrel. You can't get your elbow in front of your stomach and drag the bat head like a lot of guys do. And you can't lead with the knob. And there's so many things that you can't do when you just hold the rack in place. And it's funny. I mean, every day I keep using it on these kids to try to test it out and make sure that I'm selling something legitimate and make sure it really works. And I mean, I'm seeing things like back shoulder row and like that I've worked with kids for years and they've never done it, and we've worked on it for months, and then there it is on their video, like first day, and that's not even what I'm trying to get them to do, and they just do it intuitively. So I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, what Chaz is talking about is, and these are some of the same things that I have a problem with, is all the upper arm stuff, the barring and the back elbow passing the hands and stuff. So what this Rebel Rack's doing is it's almost like reprogramming the whole movement. So like Chaz is saying, collateral damage is getting that actual row to happen without even having to teach it. It's just happening because the kids are learning how to pinch their scaps together on the backside. So it's kind of cool. It's killing 2, 3, 4, 5 birds with one stone, and that's why I was so excited about it. And Chaz was keeping me updated over the last 3 or 4 months of its development. I mean, it's been longer than that, but not actually using what the Rebels Rack looks like now. But over the last 3 months or so, I got mine on Tuesday and have been using it, and I love it. I think it's great, and that's why we wanted to do this launch and do it big, and have a lot of people here like you guys getting in on the ground floor here. This isn't even online yet. I mean, this is nothing. You guys are going to hear about it quite a bit. So on to the next. So this is cool. I'm going to let Chaz take this away. This is really cool. This is what I always talk about on SwingSmart.com, the starting lineup store.com, which were developed looking for the 9 best baseball hitting aids on the planet. And obviously the Drive developer started in with that, and the Rebels Rack's going to be right on top. But I always look at case studies. When I look at hitting aids and see how good they are, first I look at the philosophy that they teach, and then I look at, is this getting results? So on that, I'm going to let Chaz take this away.
So first off, it's funny that I see Joe Roundtree's here, and I actually used this on his son. I won't say his name, but I used it on his son, and I'm going to be honest, his son really struggled with it. And we're going to do it again, and we're going to figure it out. But his son is a kid who I really want to gain ground, and I really want to turn well, because Joe's a big guy, and Colby's going to be a big guy, and he's going to have a lot of mass to turn. And I look at him as a kid with a lot of power potential, but I also look at him as a kid who's going to struggle with this move. So I'm going to go through all these awesome case studies, but I'm also going to go through Colby, because a kid like that, he can directly benefit through the struggle. Mm-hmm. And I want kids not just who get this immediately and figure it out and it's like a snap of the fingers. That's not what Baseball Hitting Rebellion's about. That's not what It's Baseball's about. It's about smart kids who understand it, who can communicate, and who want to learn and want to be the best they can possibly be, and get maximum technique out of their athleticism. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, any kid who walks through my door is going to be 6'7" or 5'7", or 170 or 270. I have no idea, size, strength, speed, whatever. But I do know that every single kid who walks through my door over time can do these moves. And as we go through these case studies, I've got different kids of different levels. So one of the things, Joey, when I told Joey about this thing, and without him even asking me for case studies, I was like, hey man, I just put this on a kid who was drafted out of high school, and you guys can read it. I mean, he usually hits 10 balls out of 100 over 90 miles an hour, and I tracked his hitting, and he hit over 40, and we didn't even hit 100 balls. So, because most of what we did, he was like, hey man, I'm losing it. I got to get on the rack again. I got to get on the rack again. And that's kind of how Benji was, and that's what I was saying before. It's kind of funny. I mean, you want people to want to hear your speaking, and you want them to want to read your writing. But if you can create something that's intuitive to where the player can then own the idea, then they just dive into it, and then it's theirs. And it's not, oh well, I gotta go see Chaz, I had a bad game, or whatever. I want to make sure that the kids can look in the mirror listen to their brain for their technique adjustments, because it doesn't matter what I know when the kid's in the box. So you can go to the next one. So I mean, that college hitter, I mean, he was just absolutely crushing the ball, and it was nothing like it. And I had another kid named Ty, who I wasn't sure could do who I wasn't sure could even do the rack. I wasn't sure that he was coordinated enough to do the move. And this is when I really had the revelation about how good it was. Because the guys had 2 years of lessons with me, and he shouldn't have 9 miles an hour in his swing either. But I couldn't get him to do this. And when I say the other kid who we talked about, the kid on the video who'd had lessons from the pro guy, he was getting bad information, arms information, hands information, get on the front foot, back foot, push, squish the bug, garbage. And that's the kid, we talked about earlier in the second testimonial on the page. But when Ty went from never even considering hitting 80 miles an hour off a tee to popping 181, I mean, I was stunned. And even, Justin teaches right next to me in the cage, and Justin was like, oh my God, that's unbelievable. And I think Justin's on the call on the call too. I think he's listening, I'm not sure, but it's stunning. I mean, it comes in and crushes every ball now. I mean, I didn't gun him last time, but I work, Ross is here question. I work with 14, 15-year-olds who consistently hit the ball 85 and up. I have a group of kids who hit with our pros and our college guys who are all over 90 miles an hour, all in high school. One was in middle school. I mean, if you swing properly, you will max your body out. And that's what these kids are being able to do. And more kids are maxing their bodies out every day here, and they're going to games or they're going to practices, and the coach is like, oh, well, you're just a pitcher, and kid's like, let me take BP. This happened yesterday. Kid was like, you're just a pitcher, you're just a pitcher. whatever. He went and took BP, hit 4 bombs. Nobody else hit a single one. Now he's their 3-hole.
Jeez.
And he's a guy who uses the rack. He's a guy who gains ground. He's a guy who has been in the program, and this has improved him greatly. And that's what we're trying to get people to understand.
Cool. So and you talked about this last kid. That was the last kid right there.
Oh yeah, the last kid. That's a different kid. I mean, I got case studies. I can't even keep them straight. They're so good.
Last one.
I mean, so the last kid here. This kid's the one who's on the video on the Baseball Hitting Rebellion, who's doing the move, and I think he goes 57, 65, 81, like right into it. And he's the kid who went up from 71 to 81 in 70 minutes of instruction. And I don't even think that I can take credit for that because the rack made him do it. He gained ground. He turned his hand properly. His row presented itself. I mean, it was unbelievable. You know, I didn't do that. The rack did that. I'm not good enough to do that in 2 weeks.
Yeah, right.
You know, it doesn't matter. Yeah, we can go ahead. Yeah, I mean, I've had kids as young as 6 use it. I've tested it. It fits. I've had professionals use it. You know, not a single one of them got stronger on the first day. They all got more efficient. And when you're not wasting energy, the energy is being used, and it's going into the ball. So, and that's what this is. You know, the Rebels rack can solve the issue of misdirected and lost energy. We deactivate the arms, emphasize the obliques and lower back, and we get way more separation between the pelvis and the shoulders. And even when you don't get the separation, you can feel your obliques. That's another thing. So like I've been having kids, like I'll talk about Ty again. Ty's the one who's really figured this out. The kid I worked with for 2 years. You know, he gets on his front foot, and coaches are always like, well, keep your hands back, keep your hands back. That's another arm cue that's going to lead to arm bar and arm press backwards. You know, he keeps his shoulders delayed and sits into his front side and then super thrusts like crazy and crushes the ball even when he's out in front now. It's like I can't miss his barrel. He just barrels and barrels and barrels and barrels, and it's unbelievable.
All right, go ahead. You want?
Yeah, go for it, Joey. No,
all right, so we got obviously tonight is a big night. Both Chaz and I are in our 3-piece monkey suits right now. Just picture us in a ballroom right now with our 3-piece monkey suits. I don't know what colors yours is. I got to be green and yellow for the A's. But where are you at, Chaz, on that? What color is your 3-piece monkey suit?
Man, I'm green and yellow too, man. It's baseball.
Love it. All right, so this is a big night, and we're officially launching the Rebels rack at the startinglineup.store.com. A couple things to know about it is the drive developer isn't required. So those of you that have a drive developer, you don't need to buy another one, okay? But you will. If you just buy the Rebels rack, you will not get the drive developer bands if you purchase the rack separately. Okay, so that's an important note that Chaz and I talked about this last week. That if just getting the rack, although there are some drills you can do with just the rack, you're not going to get the benefit of the drive developer bands and the different drills that we have in store and on drivedeveloper.com. You guys will get a username and password and all that good stuff. If you already have a drive developer, then you can purchase Rebels rack as an add-on, so just the Rebels rack itself. And for this weekend, only 48 hours, we're going to be offering the Rebel rack by itself for $10 off, and then after this weekend, it's going to go back up to the 10 plus. And then if you don't have the drive developer yet, you want to bundle both of those together, so the drive developer plus the Rebels rack, then at the Starting Lineup store, I'm offering $20 off total for this weekend only. So, and that's shipped. So if we move on, then just kind of rounding it all up, $10 savings, short-term coupon code will be provided on this next slide if you purchase Rebels rack add-on only within the next 48 hours. So you're talking $75 shipped. Okay, and then if you wanted to bundle both the drive developer and the Rebels rack together, you're looking at $20 savings. Same short-term coupon code will be provided, and you can get both of those together. So whether you mix and match, whether you get a youth drive developer model and a small Rebels rack, it'll cost you $172 shipped this weekend, and if you get a Pro model of the Drive Developer and the, I think, all of them are the same. The Rebels rack are the same price, regardless of size. So it's 192. So you're looking at a 172, 192 bundled deal. Offer ends midnight Pacific Standard Time this Sunday, the 21st, May 21st. So the coupon codes are here in red. I don't think you guys can probably click this link here. So when I'm going to leave this, you might. I don't know. I can, but I don't know if you guys will be able to. But you can go to the startinglineupstore.com and you'll see Chaz modeling the Rebels rack in the picture, and it's the How to Architect an Elite Swing is the title of the Rack and Drive Developer. So you can just write this code down, the red code, and that's for the Rebels rack only. That's a $10 off one. The top starting with EME, and then the bottom one is if you're going to get both. So the U90 code is for the $20 off the Drive Developer and Rebels rack.
Those are sweet. Those are sweet
codes. You like that?
Yeah, those are awesome. If really quick, if anybody can read what Chad just wrote, Chad's got a testimonial right now in the
chat box. What do you say?
Chat box. Trip used the rack for a week now. He's using a small rack. We've been doing 10 reps with 5 down, holding with both hands, and 5 with just the right hand. He's talking about movement drills, holding the bat. He's comfortable using it. He seems to have naturally moved into hitting from more of a tilt position. And yes, that is correct. And he hit well in the cage. I'm not surprised. Good job.
Yeah, so this is, obviously a lot of Chaz's local clients were getting into this, but there are not too many demos out there right now. So like I said, you guys are getting in on the ground floor. This is definitely new stuff, and this is I think this has blown any other hitting aid out of the water, especially on the technique side. So as we've been talking about today, the case studies are there, the results are there. Even though we're working on swing movements, it's been such a huge gain, I think, from like Chaz was talking about, young, old, big, small, everybody's kind of going. Chaz, looks like you get a couple questions there about the Rebels rack. What's it made of? Oh, yeah. You answered it. I see it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I got you.
What's Dan? Oh.
If you lose your password and you don't tell me, I can't help you. But if you email me, I can. So I can look up your username or whatever, and I can, I can just kind of reset your password to kind of anything you want, really. But you just gotta let me know. And Ron Ross asked, you have several different band weights for general exercise. All have clips, good quality. Do I need the Drive Developer? The short answer is probably, because if you have weightlifting weights, they're probably going to be too strong. Weightlifting bands, excuse me. So we actually have weightlifting bands at our facility. We had a P90X challenge, and we were using bands as well. And I just was playing around one day, and I tried to hook them up, and I had trouble. I couldn't move the bands the right way. And if I can't, your 10-year-old can't, or your 11-year-old can't. So
you see Sean's question?
Good hitting speed for a 12-year-old or a 10-year-old in our facility is over 55, 60 miles an hour. Average hitting speed for a 10-year-old is probably around 40. So I hope that answers. The drills on the drills, Calvin, are on drivedeveloper.com. Sean, can you explain how the rack is making the changes? I kind of thought that we were doing that. So basically, it activates the obliques and the abdominals. And I don't know if you've seen if you haven't seen the demo videos or if you haven't read the articles, you should. But basically, it allows you to feel separation at a higher level. So when you stretch your pelvis out in front of you and then your shoulders delay, you can definitely explode through at a significantly higher level. I'm not. Some of the people here know me better than others. I'm not the type of person that will sell something that doesn't work. And some of you are doing the wooden rod with the young girl we demoed a few weeks ago. Basically, this was what I always had in mind, and I was trying to make it myself, and I finally just broke down I finally have just broke down and called a metal shop guy and got exactly what I drew. So I like to make my own stuff, but this was over my head. I don't have a metal bending machine. So once I got the demos made, and I realized I didn't really realize how much it would promote row. I mean, I got to be honest with you. A lot of the stuff that it's allowed me to do, like better supination of the wrist and row, and then just a more accurate pulling feel from the obliques, has been a surprise for me. And Sean, if you haven't seen the videos,
just go to the
video. baseballhittingorbagging.com, and I know you have a login password for drivedeveloper.com. They were posted today. So the old rack videos don't exist. The new rack videos do. And you cannot do the drills with the rod that you can do with the new rack, because the reason I got rid of the old rack, and it was a makeshift thing, and it was good while it lasted, but it causes impingement in the shoulders, and you should, if you have one, throw it away.
Yeah. What also too, the starter drills, if they purchase one, you guys will get a username and password for drivedeveloper.com, and you guys will get those. So we're not just throwing it at you and then, hey, here, go ahead and play, do your thing. You'll get those drills and stuff like that.
Sam asked if you can hit balls using it. The short answer for that is no. The long answer for that is my top level guys can one-handed, yes. But I would not. There's not a single kid who's not in my elite hitters group that I would let even attempt that. And my elite hitters group are all 90 miles and over off a tee. High-level high school players can all play Division I college. So unless that's your son or daughter, the answer.
So would you wouldn't be able to finish a swing though? You'd probably just be able to only get to contact with the Rebels rack if you can.
No,
if you even can.
You can't.
Yeah, but you can say if you were hitting a heavy bag or something, would you be able to do that?
You could. Yeah, you'd be awesome with a heavy bag. It'd be awesome with a mule ball. It'd be awesome in a one-hand drill situation. If you just really have to control it when you're hitting a ball, or you'll just it'll fall out, and that's not what you want. But Steve, if you need anybody who needs a password for drivedeveloper.com who has purchased a Drive Developer, and if you email me and you haven't purchased one, I'm going to know, so you can try if you like. But if you email me for a password, I can help you. Most of the time it gets blocked by spam and bulk message filters, so if you don't have one, you got one, it didn't go to your inbox. So if you have shoes on, the answer is no, Calvin. It cannot hurt your feet. Oh, there's JK right there. It also prevents hard back elbow lead. So like he's talking about bat drag. So if you have when JK says hard back elbow lead, and I'll just clarify that because I can speak and he can't. That's when your back elbow gets in front between your stomach and home plate.
Races past your hands. Okay?
We want the back. Yeah, we want the back elbow back at behind our lat, so we can turn more efficiently, like a figure skater going into a tight spin, as opposed to a figure skater in a slow spin with their arms or legs extended. Yeah, Steve, I wouldn't use it on the beach anyway. You'd probably get a terrible tan line.
And yellow would not make your body look any better if you're white like me.
Ron Ross, the best. Orlando, yes, I emailed you back. Your 6-year-old could use it. You just have to choke them up and on the Drive Developer itself, and you have to make sure you're paying attention, man. I mean, it is weightlifting. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. It's resistance training. So if you're right there, they're going to be able to handle it. Again, I've used it personally with a 5-year-old. Carrick Ryan tried it out, and he's a freak. He's awesome. Kid hits in the high school cage at our facility. 5. Yeah. But I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you get a coordinated kid, they're going to figure it out a whole lot better than a kid who's not. But it will, over time, if you go with it and trust the move, it's going to help that kid who's not quite as coordinated or maybe bigger. They're going to get the move. It's just a matter of time. And if they don't get the move, they have a ceiling on their career.
You see Tim's question there?
So, Tim, you can use it with both hands in the swing. Again, like you got to be a long, older guy. Your kids would not be able to do that. No, it would be one-handed drills.
Yeah.
There was a radar gun question. The only radar gun that we use is a stalker gun. Anything, and I'm not going to name any names, but anything under $600 is not worth buying.
So you go, Steve, you go on to the startinglineup.store.com, and it's going to be you'll see a picture of Chaz modeling it. He'll have you see that big yellow stripe across his chest. It's the how to architect an elite swing is the title of it.
Andy, explain how to high and inside versus low and outside pitch for the rack. The rack is going to help you.
Good question.
When you get to the advanced drills, it's going to help you have dynamic balance. Dynamic balance is balance through motion, okay? And it's the only kind of balance that really matters in athletics, okay? So you're going to be able to, no doubt about it, learn how to accelerate the barrel super deep. And the only difference between accelerating the barrel for an inside pitch and accelerating the barrel for the outside pitch is when you release it. So, and how much you lean in or out. Okay, so when I say release the barrel, that's when you stop your turn and allow your hands to go. So I'm a left-hander, so for an outside pitch, I would accelerate my
You there, Chaz? There he is.
hit instead of keeping the
Chaz, you're in it. Oh, go ahead.
tight bicep in the row longer, because I've got to spin longer to get to an inside pitch before I release. I've got to turn at a higher rate of speed and a higher efficiency for a longer time and a longer distance. I just allow my hands to get out there and let it go. Does that make sense, Andy? You guys are questions.
That's good.
Got a lot of questions tonight. Talk more about the back elbow and where it is during the swing. Yeah, Ron. So Ron Ross. So basically, what we really want to avoid, and JK mentioned this, is we want to avoid the back elbow getting in front of the hands at all costs at all times. Okay, so if your back elbow at any point, if your hands move across your chest at any point, you are doing something seriously wrong. Okay, so any drill where there's no legs involved and you're just using your arms, you can't do anything worse for the swing. And I did it too when I first started teaching lessons. You widen out, you bend your knees, and you do speed toss with just the wrist. Do not do that. Oh, so Ron, what you got to do is you've got to constantly move. There's almost nothing that should be stationary when you're training. You've got to train athletically to be a hitter. Athletic moves separate the best players in the world from even each other. So you've got to move when you hit. You've got to gain ground, pull your back leg off the ground, super thrust, separate your core. You got to be flexible. You've got to be able to do these things. Even the fat guys on TV can do it. They're super coordinated, super flexible, super strong through their core, and their elbows never, ever, ever lead their hands.
Chaz, we got about 7 minutes, by the way, till we're at 45 minutes.
Okay, and we're definitely stopping then because I don't want to keep losing people. So, how should they make the jump combining muscle feedback?
Yeah, I'm going to stop screen sharing here. Get back to our...
Okay,
Screen
Tim,
sharing has stopped.
I don't understand your question. Joey, I can't find the order page. You want to
order page?
Steve?
Hold on.
Oh, yep, he's got it. Cool.
He got it. Well, let me just put it in the type box. Just anyway.
That's cool. Tim, how do they make the jump to combining the muscle feedback from the one-hand drills to swinging with both hands? Oh, now I get your question. Sorry, I just had to read it again. So basically what they're going to feel is their turn. And then they're going to, that's what they don't ever feel. You feel your arms. Like I'm standing here right now and you can't see me, but I'm standing up and I'm animated, I'm using my arms. I can feel everything that my arms are doing. Okay? But I cannot feel my abs and lower back stabilizing me to stand. Okay? So what the rack is going to do is allow them to feel the stretching and firing and turning in their middle, in their core, in their abs, in their obliques, in their lower back. Okay? And that's what they feel. That's the feel. And then they're shocked at how fast the bat moves when they do it right with no arm activation. And then they don't want to use their arms anymore. Now they still will, but then you just pop them right back over to the rack and go, oh, hey, that's too much arms, too much arms. You feel it, and then they can feel their arms.
Well, one of these questions was pretty good. Where was it?
Andy, the main reason your foot comes down is gravity. The lean back happens because you've gained ground with both your feet. So if you gain ground with one of your feet and leave your back foot back, you're going to have a forward lean. That's why you've got to pull that knee under you and get it in front of your stomach so that you create the lean. Does that make sense, Andy?
And then Chaz, you got 13-year-old son, weighs around 140 pounds, so medium. So he's got
medium.
It. That's Brad.
Yes, Brandon. There is never a bad time. How old's your son? How old's your son, Brandon? Brandon Stroll. Can you type in how old your son is? He's 12. So I'm going to ask you a question, and I'll let you answer it. And then just answer it with a number. Would you rather your son be good when he's 12 or when he's 16? No, both is the right answer. Okay, but if you could only pick one, I know you'd pick the older age, because he's probably not, if he's trying out for teams, it's daddy ball, and it's maybe you're the coach, and or maybe it's middle school. Okay, but once you get to high school, I truly believe that the cream rises to the top. Okay, and so I'm willing to have a kid struggle a little bit with a technique move now, and so that he can figure it out later. I mean, we have been putting kids in these swings in the rack during their high school season, and we've got numerous kids in the state semifinals. We got numerous all-conference guys, numerous kids hitting their first home runs, numerous kids being so much smoother and better from the movement. And so you don't have to say, okay, well, now you're doing the Rebel rack, you have to do everything right. You got to gain ground and super thrust. I don't even do that in my own lessons. I worked on the rack today with somebody, and they were like, all right, we got a tournament tomorrow. What should we do? And I was like, go have fun, see the ball, and hit it. Don't you think about the rack? Go, leave, go play. Your kids shouldn't be technically thinking, and Brandon, I'm still talking to you, as they're hitting. Once the rack move is really in their swing, it will present itself in the games. Because their body will not want to do. And Richard, technique, a towel under the back armpit, no, because the towel causes the wrong pull. And I've been asking this numerous times. Richard Bernalis from La Palma, the towel causes an inward pinch of the shoulders, like you're flapping your wings like a duck. That is not what you want. That is a wrong move, and that will hurt the swing, not help it.
Good question.
So no, that's one of the best questions I've ever gotten.
Because I know I've heard the balloon too. Some people using a balloon or a batting glove, putting it on the armpit, or putting the balloon between the bicep and the rib cage. It's the same idea. How about size-wise, Chaz? We got about less than 2 minutes, about 1:50 left. We got Ron Ross asking about 15-year-old, 175-pound, 6 foot. What size? Maybe kind of briefly go over the sizes, what.
I'd go with a large for Ron's kid. I'm looking, Chad. How far do you want the kids to turn with a rack? Yeah, Chad. I mean, your son's really young. I work with Tripp in person, so I just want him to start the turn accurately, Chad. Okay, start the turn well, and then whatever happens, happens, and I'll see you guys next week, and I'll fix it. And then you asked about sizing. Anything under an adult small shirt, so even youth extra large has been wearing small racks, and believe it or not, youth smalls and youth mediums have been fitting in the small racks as well. I don't really know how to explain that, but they have, and they all fit right. So there it is. If you're, I had a question about a 13-year-old who's about 135, 140 pounds. I'd go with a medium. 175 to 200 pounds, I go with a large. And unless you're an absolute monster, stay away from the extra large. I had a 225-pound kid in the building yesterday, and he used a large. Cool. So stay away from the extra large unless you wear like a 50 jacket or
cool.
or
Did
bigger.
you want to answer this last? We got a last couple questions, or one of these last. from Bill Thies or Jamie?
Steve, yes, you can purchase the rack at the drivedeveloper.com, but I'd prefer you do it at the Starting Lineup store today. Calvin, I actually sent the rack to the head strength coach at a major Division I university, and he said the same thing. He says it has as many uses in the weight room as it does in the on the baseball field, which was really cool, actually.
And yeah, those who want to go, we're closing in. We're a little over 45 minutes.
All right, I'll be quick then. Yes, Keith. There are new videos posted on drivedeveloper.com right now. They're very specific. They're voiceover. Drivedeveloper.com got a huge makeover over the last 48 hours. The front page is not done, but all the video pages are. How many reps a day with the rack, Ivan? I've had kids do 200 in a day. I've had kids do 15. Jamie, all you got to do is select no drive developer. Yes. Bill, call me tomorrow, and I'll answer that question. Tim Mitchell, kind of, but not really. The JK with the baseball in his elbow was something that I thought about, and that definitely helps. But again, it doesn't promote the row; it just promotes a bicep flex. 12-year-old girl.
Price.
I would go with a medium, and your daughter needs the girls have tried the rack, so it does go across the chest, but you jam it as high up in the armpits as you possibly can, and then it takes any issues that could come from a girl using it out of the equation. So John Smitolsky, I would say go with a medium. Yes, Jamie McDonald, the rack has greatly improved the ability of kids to row and supinate the top hand wrist to help with early barrel turn super deep. So I hope I got through everybody's questions. I know Joey and I are going to sign off here because we're going too far. But guys, I cannot thank you guys enough. I'd go with a small, Calvin. It just depends how wide the shoulders are. I mean, if they wear an adult medium shirt, then I'd go with a medium. If they wear an adult small, I'd go with a small. But I can't thank you guys enough for coming out. This is a huge professional achievement for me to launch my second product. It means so much to me that you guys read and you guys, listen to what I have to say. It's hard to be a prophet in your own hometown, and a lot of the people around Hillsborough and Durham, they're not too sure about this, but I'm sure, and JK's sure, and Justin's sure, and I come up with stuff all the time, and they're like, Chaz, that's terrible, and they tell me, and they're my sounding boards, and they're honest, and my wife is supportive, and she tells me, and this has been as successful a training tool for my business, for myself, for my kids. I've never been able to improve people as fast as when I put them on the rack, and I just feel like every day it's like a new breakthrough for me as a teacher, and hopefully for you guys. Joey, you might want to repost those order codes one more time.
Get those there. I think it's right here. There you go.
So,
can they see it?
Thank you guys so much.
Hold on.
Again for everything. I do not see the order
share
codes.
The screen real quick. You guys write it down. I don't want to take any, especially you East Coasters.
And I will say one more thing.
Screen sharing has resumed.
There are the order codes. We've had quite a lot of response now from the online lessons, and people are really happy about what they're getting, and I'm really proud of what we're giving. And if you want a truly personalized program, and there are a lot of people from here who are in my online lesson program, so if guys feel free to chime in if you feel comfortable in the chat box. But I work very hard at it. I care very deeply about each kid I work with. I try to be as accommodating as possible with emails, and you guys have heard me say, hey guys, Bill Thies, call me tomorrow, so we can talk a little longer. But I really want to help your kids, and I feel extremely confident that they can get everything and more from me that they can get from a professional instructor in their area who's going to charge much more money and frankly is more than likely not going to teach them the right thing. So give it a shot. If you're confused or you're concerned, try a bronze out, see what we do, and if you don't like it, you can always cancel. And I've had one cancel to go with a different instructor in the entire time I've been doing the lessons. And the guy he went with was Chris O'Leary. He's one of the most famous instructors in the world, and he got in-person lessons from him. So I didn't even feel bad about that. I mean, I would go to a Chris O'Leary lesson, frankly, if I could, just to hear what he had to say. So I really appreciate the opportunity and all the voice Joey's given me, and the way that you guys read and listen and comment. And just keep it up. It's only going to grow, and I can't wait to keep helping the rest of you.
Yeah, thank you guys so much again. On my side, I couldn't have put it a lot better than what Chaz did. So we're just truly grateful for those that showed up today, for those that read the blog, and for all those awesome people in Chaz's hitting mentorship program on baseballhittingrebellion.com. We just can't thank you guys enough. You guys are awesome and is helping us also with your thoughts, and we just can't thank you enough. So Chaz put it perfect. So I hope you guys all have a good night, and you guys have a good weekend, and keep tuning in, keep seeing what's happening that's new. This is cutting edge stuff. This is all ground floor stuff. So you guys are learning the best stuff out there, whether it's knowledge from Chaz or hitting aids from the Starting Lineup store. It's all the best. So thank you guys again. Have a good night, and we will. And if you haven't signed up for the email newsletter, the swing off of swingsmart.com or the homepage of baseballhittingrebellion.com, do so, and we can keep you updated on future webinars, the teleseminars, the contests that we're going to be doing. Lots of cool stuff coming. So thank you guys again. Thanks, Chaz, for everything, man. You did a good job. So we'll sign it off and go from there. Thank you guys.
Just so everybody knows, the racks will begin shipping on Wednesday. We had a little delay with some of the decals that go on them, but Wednesday they'll begin shipping via UPS, and I cannot wait for y'all to get them. Thank you very much.